explain. Okay, I was taken to this place, and it was like a cliff. Okay, there was a cliff, and it looked like a desolate forest. It looked like trees. Everything was gray. It's like twilight, but it was dark, but you can still see. But as you know, it was a path. But we were on this cliff, and I'm looking down at this. There was no leaves on these trees. These trees look creepy. They look eerie too, by the way. They were just like gray, desolate forest. But then that's when I looked up, and that's what really, really blew my mind. All of the part that I was in, and all the torture in the pits, and like the cells that look like skyscrapers built inside the mountain. I'm gonna call it, that wasn't even the real hell. That was pre-hell. See, that's what part that still gets me to this day, because when I looked at the path to the trees and I looked, it was these gates. The gates have to be 80 feet tall, and you can see through the gates, and it was just a horrible looking castle, like very ancient looking city, castle-like city. And instantly, and there was people standing that was next to me on this cliff as we looked. And I knew that is the real hell. That is, if you enter those gates, that's the point of no return. So I can't imagine, because I didn't even make it past those gates. I'm going to explain the path that was there. And as you know, we look down and see, that's one thing. Your vision is like zoom. You have the best zoom lens, like in the spirit body. You can zoom on something and you can see everything, hear everything way, way better than you are here. We looked and we saw people in chains, all male, female, all races, all ages. They were chained together, and they were walking on that path towards that gate, and they were chained. But as they looked up, okay, see, a lot of people asked before. I'm gonna explain everything real fast. One thing I did notice, there was no communication amongst people in hell. There was no fellowship, right? And I think that the Lord made this happen so I was able to hear the warnings and the cries of people's hearts, because those people that were going on that path, that were heading to the real hell, they were looking up at everybody who was standing next to us, because I could not talk to nobody who was next to me. But those people down there were looking up, telling us, don't come here. They saw us standing on those cliffs. They were screaming up, and people were sitting, and I saw the people's reaction were like trying to talk back down to those people, but they couldn't talk to each other. It was weird. But the people who were in that line, you got to be thousands of people, and they were all chained together, and they were walking, being led by this little demon in front. There was demons on the side of them, and they were walking them towards that path, towards those gates. And they were screaming to everybody, don't come here, please. And just all types of messages are pretty much saying, don't come, please don't come. So as I'm looking down, and I'm just baffled, first of all, at looking at the gates of the real hell. It looks distant away, but looking at those real gates and looking, it blew my mind. I said, wait a minute, all of that torture, that is beyond my comprehension. This is a part of hell. But it wasn't the final conclusion. It wasn't I wasn't finalized. Okay? And all I know is I looked, and as I look up, it's rocks and there's a big dome, and all of a sudden it goes, I got sucked up. But just for a split second, I just want to tell everyone this. That split thousandths of a millisecond, if I put it in time frame, because time doesn't exist there, I felt the Lord had to have grabbed me and sucked me out. Just a brief, I experienced more love, more freedom, more power than anything. Just the remnants of the Lord is more powerful than anything that you could describe. Any feeling, anything. And it was just so. As I'm going, and I could feel myself go up, and then I got slammed back down. And when I got slammed back down, I was in a hospital. Now, this is the crazy part. When I got slammed back in, I felt disgusting. I literally felt like I was wearing my body. Okay. Like I try to describe it to people. The best way to describe it is if you put on like 5 layers of clothes and get them wet in cold water and put them on. You just feel wet, heavy. I felt heavy. I felt it just felt it took me like a week and a half to 2 weeks to get. I felt disgusting. I literally felt out of place, like I was wearing my body. I felt like I was wearing my body. Okay, but when I came and I slammed back to the nurse, but look, she runs out. So I start freaking out because I'm starting to move because she runs out screaming, and then this alarm goes off, and the people come flooding in the room, and they're catching, grabbing me, and I'm just like, wait, like it happened so simultaneously. That's like the same way I died, the same way when I came back. It happened so fast. I didn't know. I was just fresh out of hell. I didn't know where I was. I didn't know. It was just so fast. People don't understand. It's not a big ceremony. I didn't experience no ceremony where I walked into the judgment and got judged and he told me this. That may happen, but it didn't happen to me. It was instantaneous. It was bing, boom, the same way. Just like when I woke up and I was in the hospital and everybody's running around, and I am just so terrified at this point because I can still smell the sulfur. Just like even to this moment, to this day, I can't stand the smell of any sulfuric smells, any matches. Tremendous PTSD. I can't do it. I can't because it instantly takes me there. It's like even describing the story, I kind of pause a little bit because it's emotional. It is traumatizing, beyond traumatizing. I do not want to go back there. I do not, and I don't wish that upon or for anyone. For anyone. That's why I'm back with an approach of spiritual